How's it going, everybody? I am Donut. This is, of course, a Black Lives Matter, all cops are bastards, and trans rights supporting channel. If you're not supporting that shit, get the fuck out of here. This is Broad City Season 4, Episode 4, Mushrooms. They're gonna do mushrooms, that's my guess. I mean, have we not already had that happen in the series before? I guess not. But I mean, they just did cocaine last episode, or Alana did anyway. But yeah, I guess we haven't done like a sort of... I feel like we've done something like that, but maybe not. Maybe I'm crazy. Anyway, it's going to be an episode where they're tripping, I guess. That's my guess. You gotta always have one. I got nothing to say about it. It's the obligatory episode that you always do with a stoner show like this. So let's get into it. Check it out. See how it is. See how it compares and stacks up to everything else. Because I will say, I'm usually not a fan of those kind of episodes. But those are usually, I mean, I guess I say episodes, but what I mean is, like, I'm usually not a fan of the tripping sequence in a stoner comedy movie. And that is, to be fair, usually because it's done with just weed, which is always so weird. But when it's done with a different drug, then it can be sometimes better. The one in Keanu was really good, but yeah, I've never seen it, I think, in a TV show, so I'm curious about that actually. Let's jump into it, see what it's like. If you want to see the full length of this one, check it out on the Patreon below for $4 a month. And that, my friends, is why you always have a designated sitter. You gotta have somebody who isn't tripping there with you, or else you might do that! Kill the cat! Between the doors I was thinking too when she did it. I was like, damn, she closed that door so fast. I hope the cat got out okay. But then like, oh my god, I can't believe she just crushed it to death. Like, I was expecting you let it out and then it got away, which is already bad enough as it is. But to have crushed the cat to death is holy shit. Yeah, well, Abby had the perfect job. It was going great. Everything's going fine. But then you do something like that, there's no coming back from that. No siree. Yikes. Whew. So yeah, that is why you have a sitter. But this episode, definitely my favorite, like, trip episode of all time. Again, I haven't really seen that in a show. I might have, I'm just forgetting. But primarily, I'm thinking of it as, like, scenes in a movie, which is, I feel like, less... I've just never seen it done in a way that I'm like, yeah, this is fun. It's usually just like, whatever, let's get through this part. But this was a very fantastic episode, both in, like, having the entire animated sequence, which I thought was just going to be the whole episode, but, like, we start out, like, going into it, we get the eyes on the live action, then we get them in animated form against the live action stuff, then we actually get the full animation, then we full reverse that out of it. Excellent way to do it, as well as still having the, like, while they were in the house party, like, the little things they were doing, like clapping, or like the cat portrait, like, meowed, and then like the small little sound effects and visual, like, little doodads to go along with it. Very, very excellent. Fucking love that. My god, what an amazing choice. Again, the animators, give the animators props. Holy shit, there was so much going on in each thing, in the background or the whatever, like, so much going on. The color choice for Broad City is impeccable, as I said. Like, whether it's like the intro cards they do all the time for the theme song, which is different every time, or we get something like this, they really know what they're doing to make it look great. Like, again, it's a low detail art style. It's a very, very low detail, but yet they make it look so amazing just by the contrasting of the colors next to each other, and, like, what they do with the low detail, no shading, like how they make that fit together without it being too flat. You know, I don't know how to put it, but it's not flat, even though it is all extremely flat. And yet macaroons are the Frenchest thing I could possibly think of in terms of, like, it almost inedible, but they look amazing, which is how I would describe most French food. Almost inedible, but it looks amazing. Also, I didn't realize it just now, but Alana wearing a scarf that is a bunch of eyes is terrible for if you're tripping on mushrooms. My god, what a bad idea. And yeah, I hope Alana is able to get herself, like, after last episode. I can see why, Lincoln was triggering her so much, but I hope that, eventually, with enough time, she can move past that, because, man, she had to bail on her, like, her life's dream. Like, oh, that is so sad to see that we were almost there, and she couldn't do it. Could not do it. I mean, she's been in these kind of situations multiple times with Blake Griffin as well, where his dick was just too big for her. Like, she just had to. I mean, that was still very fun in of itself. But this is definitely, a disappointment to her of, like, just not understanding why she couldn't have what she wanted. And, like, yeah, this is not something where they're going to be up for it later, especially if they're only in town for one night. I forgot about that. But yeah. Real shame. You almost had, like, the fucking perfect experience. My god, I'm jealous. And yeah, I really enjoyed Dara's role on the show for what it was. Again, as just being a really good boss, but also just being very particular in, like, at what stuff she was shitty about. Like, they go very fine line with that. Like, everybody in the show is shitty to some degree, but there's people who are like, that's a really good person, but of course, like everybody, they're gonna have some things that are shitty about them, or just, some whatever, some quirks to them and stuff, and, like, Dara was perfect at that. Again, I feel like a lot of Trip episodes, I'm like, they're just kind of doing, like, this is what it looks like when you're on some hallucinogens, or half the time just, this is what it looks like when you're high on weed, which is insane. But, like, this was a great, like, we never really see what they're seeing. We always just get, like, this is what it feels like. This is the feeling of each of these situations they're in. Like, not even like an overall, this is what it feels like to be high, but this is, or like specifically on, like, hallucinogens, but, like, this is what it feels like in these specific scenarios. And half of this is stuff I could never know, because it's, like, city stuff, which I have never dealt with and would never try to while on mushrooms. That would be insanity. But yeah, everything else, there's a lot of other stuff where it's like, yeah, the vibes are right on point. Absolutely. Especially when it's, like, the more live action with animation over top of it. I think that stuff nailed it the best. Yeah, that's it. That's all I gotta say. I will see you guys for the next episode. Until then, get the fuck out of here.